Hello, my name is Anne DeSantis. I'm the director for the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation for Freedom, Family, and Faith. I want to tell you what's been going on with us since we've been in existence in 2015. The Mercedarian friars came together and decided that they wanted to start a foundation to make outreach to families in crisis. And that's exactly what they did when the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation came into existence as a nonprofit 501c3 headquartered in Philadelphia. Since that time, I became the director in the beginning of 2018, and we basically have four facets to what we do. We offer prayer, priestly consultations, podcasts and videos, and also programs and events. Now, if you've never been to our website, just to invite you to go to nonatus.org and check out all the great things that we've been doing. Because since that time, since we've been in existence, we've now helped hundreds of families who are going through really challenging times. And as you all know, we went through a really challenging time in 2020. So I'd just like to invite you to go and check out the great things that we're doing. And there's more to come. If you or your church community would like us to come and do some type of an event where we can talk about what we offer in terms of that pastoral accompaniment and making outreach to families in crisis, please do reach out to us. And I'm just so grateful to be able to serve people like you and your families. So again, learn about us at nonatus.org. Thank you.
Fiat Ministry Network and Patchwork Heart Ministry present Journeys in Faith. Now, here's Anne DeSantis.
Good evening. Welcome to Journeys in Faith here on Fiat Ministry Network. It's wonderful to be here again because I have a great guest for all of you. I have Jennifer Baugh. She is the executive director of Young Catholic Professionals. She's located in Dallas, Texas. I'm so blessed to have her on this show. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us on Journeys in Faith.
Anne, thanks for having me. It's great to be with you.
It's great to be here with you too, because I have to say, this is a group that I completely love. I have been to your meetings in the Philadelphia area. In fact, I even met you personally when you came up to Philadelphia for the launch of the Philadelphia chapter. And so it's really a blessing to have you here. I want to make a shout out to my own archdiocese, the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, and Archbishop Nelson Perez, who you know, and as you said, he's a friend.
Oh, he's a great bishop, wonderful man.
He really is. And you know, the event that you did here in Philadelphia to launch this one here in my area has really made a huge impact on the Philadelphia area, especially for young Catholic professionals, and even ones who are not so young like myself. Who are mentors. And I know we're going to talk a lot about that during the show, the idea of what you do and how this is an organization that has opportunities both for those young Catholics professionals and also for people who have been very seasoned in their careers and maybe want to become a mentor.
Absolutely.
Yes. So why don't we start out with your bio and then talk a little bit about your life, faith, and mission. Is that you are the founder and the executive director of Young Catholic Professionals. It is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with a mission of work in witness for Christ. You received your Bachelor's of Science in marketing from Trinity University and your MBA from Texas A&M University. You worked for Merrill Lynch in the global wealth management practice and for FTI Consulting in the corporate restructuring practice before starting the YCP ministry in 2010. Wow, it's been quite a while too.
It has.
Jennifer is now, and you are now a mom of 2 rambunctious little boys and embracing the challenge of running a thriving apostolate while saving enough energy for toddler adventures. And we were just talking about that right before we started the recording for the show. This is pre-recorded, but we're very much with you right now. So tell us more about your life, faith, and mission. I mean, it's really amazing the experience that you have, and you're really combining being that Catholic wife and mother and really putting that first, and the apostolate that you're involved with.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, it really has been an incredible adventure. I remember once my dad said, what word would describe your life, and I think he chose the word adventure and I chose the word journey. And I think that's really what it's been. And that's what we're all called to as Catholics, that, our church is a perpetual institution. We're on this journey to the Lord, and so there's been this sense that I've always been on a journey. I've lived all over the world. My parents lived overseas. I was born in the Philippines, brother born in Hong Kong, moved to Norway, then finally to the United States, Connecticut, San Antonio, Miami. So, really kind of in a sense, always as a young person searching for roots, because I think I had moved around so much. Just kind of searching to find my place in the world. I was very much a high achiever. And so, that dominated a lot of my high school life with school, and then even undergrad, graduate, and a lot of restlessness. I think a lot of young people would say they experience that restlessness, but I think with me, there was really this sense of soul searching, trying to figure out, my place. And so I know we'll talk about it more on the show, but, really, through a series of incredible events, I found my home in our Catholic Church, and it's the absolute best place to find a home, as you know, and have dedicated your life to now.
Thank you very much. Yes, I have done that. And it makes such a difference when you put your faith first, and no matter what you do, isn't it? I mean, whether we are that stay-at-home mom or whether you are working, whoever you are, I mean, our faith really is our guide, and it's such a blessing to all of us. So I just want to commend you for all the wonderful work that you're doing, and thanks for sharing a little bit about yourself.
Thank you.
I really, honestly, I can't say enough good about this group. I mean, I've had a lot of guests on this show. I think we're even up to past, 80 some episodes on Journeys in Faith. But this is really going to be one of my favorites, because not only because of you and who you are, but what this mission is of the young Catholic professionals. I just think that people talk a lot about how to evangelize, right? How to evangelize people under the age of 40, and how some people do not put their faith first. But this group really combines that whole idea of who we are as part of being out in the workplace and being in ministry. No matter who you are, we're all part of ministry, aren't we? We're all part of being part of that, as Pope Francis has called it, the field hospital.
Totally.
Right? The field hospital that we're in.
Yeah, there's this universal call to holiness. Our very first conference was based on Saint Francis de Sales' book, Introduction to the Devout Life, and a huge part of that book is the universal call to holiness. He said traditionally it was thought that you could really only achieve the highest level of sainthood as a religious. And he said, no, we as lay people, no matter if we're a baker or, a banker, we are called to serve God and strive for that intense holiness in our daily life, wherever God has us. And so I think that's what's so exciting, like you said, Anne, about this particular mission and group, is that, individually we're called to such greatness for the glory of God. And then when you put us together as a group, the possibilities are endless. So there's a lot of hope, and I think that's what's motivated me this entire time.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And you mentioned when you were talking about your experience in growing up, that whole idea of being a high achiever, and then you brought up sainthood just now. Think about that, right? That's a good combination, because our sainthood is really achieved when we match God's will, right? And that, I believe that that's what this group is all about, is that
Totally.
living out God's will for you and
Totally.
learning ways, creative ways that you can do your work, be a person of faith, and also whatever your vocation is, right? Because I know that with Young Catholic Professionals Group, you have a very big combination of people who are single,
Yes.
have vocations to diocesan priesthood,
Yeah.
also sisters in religious life, and people who are involved in different forms of religious life.
Hmm.
And of course, people like you and I who are married and have children too, and are
Definitely.
on the different stages of parenthood too.
Yes. Yeah. And I think, I mean, that's what's amazing about our faith. Catholic, we're called to be family members to one another, so you and I, we're family as Catholics. And it's just amazing to have that encouragement. You don't have to just tap into your immediate family. You have this whole family to tap into for support, for help, for encouragement, maybe even just a reminder of who you are. And I think that really, in a sense, is the magic of this ministry. It's not like we're sharing anything revolutionary with YCP, but it's really just a simple reminder that we're called to more, and we don't have to do it alone. I think through the examples of these wonderful executive speakers that we have who share how they live their Catholic faith. We have mentorship. You yourself are a wonderful mentor in our Philly chapter. Just the simple guidance of someone who cares for you, and can share real life tips. These priests who come and spend their time with us and share catechesis with us and remind us. I think that's the amazing thing, is it's all just a little bit of a reminder and encouragement.
Reminder and encouragement. That's right. And
Mhm.
it's a beautiful group. Now, tell us the website. And of course, we're going to say it again, all of
Yes.
the different places that you can connect. But I really want to encourage each and every one of you who are watching, no matter what your age, whether you're below the age of 40 or even older than that, like myself, is that you need to be a part of this group. You need to either join as a member, be a mentor, whatever it is, and think about bringing that to your city or wherever you're located, because they're starting to really pop up all over the place,
Yeah.
these chapters. So
Yeah,
tell us
we're
that
growing.
website.
So our main website is youngcatholicprofessionals.org.
.org. Okay.
Yes. And so you can find a ton of information. You can find where we have our current chapters. So we're in 27 cities, about to be in 28. And we actually have a wonderful goal to be in 50 cities by 2024. So we're going to need everybody's help to get there. For anyone listening or watching, it's really not just sort of young adults in their own little silo. I mean, as we've been talking about, we involve the entire Catholic community in this. So if you have any suggestions on cities we should be in, there's a, start a chapter near you part of our website. We also are always looking for mentors. And Anne, maybe you can speak about your experience as a mentor, but always looking for guidance from Catholics who just believe in passing on the legacy of faith.
That's exactly what it is. It's passing it on. And
Hmm.
the events are lots of fun. I mean, I have
Hmm.
to tell you that because now my children are older, they're in their mid 20s, and my one daughter and I, we go to these meetings together. And
That's so nice.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, the networking is just incredible. And
Hmm.
the spirituality part too, because there's usually a speaker, there's some prayer, and then
Hmm.
of course there's time for food and drink, and
Yeah.
that's usually probably the most fun part, is just casually getting to talk to side by side with people in your area, Catholics who are not only serious about their faith, but also serious about getting to know what you do and how you can work together to network and, really make this world a better place.
Hmm. I mean, I think our faith should be fun, because I mean,
Hmm.
if you think about it, we as Catholics, we're so blessed. I mean, we have the fullness of faith, that you're a rich heritage. Every day is fun. Today's feast day. Every day there's a saint to celebrate. The liturgical calendar kind of gives a rhythm to our life. And so we can share that with one another. And why not have, a glass of wine after you've worked a hard work day? Why not celebrate? So, at all of our events, we have, at our speaker series, we have a free glass of wine, free appetizers for our attendees. And it's just fun. It's good to be alive. It's good to be Catholic. And even though the world is kind of tough out there, and it's challenging, and work is tough, and the demands of being in your 20s and 30s, there's a lot going on. I think more than anything, we need to focus on the opportunity and the promise. There's energy and vitality at this time in our life, and why not seize the day?
I agree with you completely. And there's a certain compassion too that I find with these meetings and meeting the people, that when
Mhm.
we're Catholic and when inside of our hearts is that gospel message.
Yes.
And when we're Catholics, of course, we have the beauty of the sacramental life, which of course is always at the forefront, but
Hmm.
the compassionate side of what it means to be Catholic. And that compassionate side, I think, is what really makes this world richer and more, bonding together with all of our brothers and sisters. And it's very attractive to non-Catholics, I think.
Totally. Yeah, I've been amazed at really what our members share and want to share. The neat thing, you've seen it through the speaker series, there's a question and answer, after the speaker talks. And so it's amazing the type of questions that are asked. People are really kind of exposing what matters to them, the sort of the concerns that they're juggling with. And then even in our panel discussions, it's a smaller event where with small group roundtable discussions, and you get a chance to really dive deeper with the people in your table, and share. And I think that that's the cool thing about it too, is that none of us are pretending that we're in any grand spot here. We're all just looking to grow. Even from the reading today, the man says to our Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. And I think that's where we're all at together, is we believe, but we need help believing even more. And this is a place where we can just simply grow together.
Yes, it really is. And it's a place to lift one another up too, because you
Mhm.
mentioned when you were just talking a bit ago about that, how work can sometimes be strenuous, hard, and then being able to take the time to have fun. And there's a certain lifting up of everyone
Mhm.
and of honoring no matter where we are. I don't feel any competitive nature in these
Mm-mm.
meetings, which I think is beautiful. And I
Yeah.
don't think you find that everywhere you go. I just think that we live in a world that is a very competitive, and the virtues aren't always present in the world everywhere you go. So when you come to a place like the Young Catholic Professionals and you become a member,
Yes.
you really are putting your faith forward. And so
Yes.
I just want to make that shout out to our own audience, who is, for the most part, people who really do practice and love their Catholic faith,
Yes.
is to consider this group. And
Yes.
so it's just wonderful. Now, we do have to take a short break. So stay tuned with us here on Journeys in Faith. In just a few minutes, I'll be back with Jennifer.
Today, many students go to college with numerous questions about their faith, yearning to know if the seed planted in them as a child is both true and practical. Using the miracle on the road to Emmaus as a model, young adult ministers conversed weekly for 3 months with college students about the most pressing questions they had about the Catholic faith. As they journeyed together virtually, something amazing happened. Doubts disappeared, fears faded, and Jesus revealed that He is still alive. Hearts Burning Within Us, the latest book from Patchwork Heart Ministry, is a result of that grace-infused conversation. It is the perfect back-to-school gift for recent high school graduates and current college students. Get your copy for them today at patchworkheart.org or by calling 424-704-3278. That's 424-704-3278.
Welcome back to Journeys in Faith. Thank you so much for joining us here on Fiat Ministry Network for my show with Jennifer Baugh, who is from Young Catholic Professionals. She is the founder and the executive director for this 501c3 Catholic nonprofit organization that I believe has been around since 2010, Jennifer, right?
That's right, Anne.
Yeah, it's really grown since you started this. I mean,
It really has. Yeah, we started, the first few years we were just in Dallas, really just building this from nothing, from just the ground up. And then we started to have young people in other cities say, we hear about what's happening in Dallas. And that was how we decided, through a lot of prayer, to reorganize, become a national ministry, and then launch chapters across the country. So, I mean, it really, the entire time has been Holy Spirit led and directed. And it's really exciting to see where we'll go next. We have to just be open and ready for the ride.
Absolutely. And I really feel good thing, even more good things are coming.
Hmm.
I want to make a shout out to any priests that are watching this, bishops, archbishops, whoever you are, wherever you're from. Please share this. If you
Hmm.
could share this on your diocese or archdiocese page or your church website, let everybody know about this group. Like I said, on a personal note, this is a show that I'm doing, and I'm really familiar with this group, and I love it. I'm a mentor for this wonderful nonprofit, and I know you wanted me to talk a little bit about that,
Yeah.
Jennifer, right? Just to
Yeah,
share a
definitely.
little bit. So, what a mentor is, it's someone who takes the time with another person who might be a young Catholic professional, and maybe you're a person who's a little more seasoned in your field and have been involved in working in the professional world for a while. And there's an opportunity for you to be matched up with
Hmm.
someone who could use your skills and your expertise in terms of talking about it, counseling, coaching, not professional counseling, but just ways that they can learn to make the best of their professional life. And so my experience so far with the mentoring has just been wonderful. And I know that the one person I'm mentoring right now, she has expressed to me that she's very grateful for what she's learned. But we learn from each other. It's not
Hmm.
just about that she's learning from me. I'm learning from her too. And so I think that's the best thing about it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to interrupt. That was
No,
beautiful.
please.
It's just, I think it is so mutually reinforcing. My husband has a mentor from YCP that he's been meeting with for 2 years. They don't have to go that long, but these two just have connected so well. And his mentor said that it's outside of his family, it's one of the most important relationships of his life because, I think you get to a level of closeness when someone's really seeking your guidance and help, and it's all rooted in faith. And so my husband has asked just so many kind of career questions, life questions, and the mentor always brings him back to faith, making his decisions from a place of faith. And so it's really special. A lot of Catholics who are, sort of older think, oh, the young Catholics, they don't want me to be involved. But actually, what we've found through this ministry is that our members love the interaction of the seasoned Catholics. They love it because, like we've been talking about, it's a time of growth, your 20s and 30s, and they just really love the reinforcement.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. There's a certain energy there. And
Mhm.
also just to make that shout out, because as moms, you and I are both moms, and this is a great group that supports also mothers who decide that
Mhm.
in some way that they might want to continue working, whether it be
Mhm.
part-time, full-time, and still really practice your faith and care about your faith. So I don't know, Jennifer, if you wanted to share on that too, because I just think it's a great support for them as well.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. Yeah. I mean, I think it really is encouraging. We just launched in Kansas City, and I happened to just join this small group of ladies, and it turned out they're all moms who have decided to recently to kind of be stay-at-home moms, but are thinking of doing kind of entrepreneurial things on the side. And so they were just chatting with each other about it and sort of giving each other advice, and they felt totally comfortable at YCP. And in fact, there was a networking connection that happened, that evening. So, I think it's really important for moms to support each other. It's not easy to be a working mom, as you know.
Hmm.
Even in my role now, it's. I was telling someone the other day, my life is just so full. I have this incredible responsibility with my primary vocation, and then my secondary vocation, which is also for me very much like a calling, my apostolate. It's all so full. And so the fact that I have so many close friends from that I've met through YCP that provide that encouragement to me and support, and I can meet people like you through this ministry who can give me that encouragement and direction. I think it's priceless. I just think, there probably was a time when people just didn't have that type of advice and encouragement. And so I'm just really thankful that we can offer that.
It's really Holy Spirit driven. And there's no
Mhm.
doubt that this whole project, everything that you're doing, and I just only see it growing more because it's so rooted in God and in our faith and making the world that better place, as I keep alluding to.
Mhm.
And you're right. I don't think that years ago obviously there was no young Catholic professionals when I had younger kids. I mean, my kids are now in their 20s
Yeah.
and they're adults themselves. But it would have been nice, but it's great to be involved in it right now. I mean, so I'll make that shout out to people who are my age. If you're over the age of 40, 50, 60,
Yeah,
I'm sure that even older than that,
totally.
can get involved in the group. And really experience the beauty of this group and the way that they're bringing people together for
Mhm.
something really good.
Totally. One other aspect is there really is sort of an evangelization aspect to what we do, and so there may be some people watching who have children who are fallen away. And we've found that, YCP is a really great stepping stone. So one of the programs we have is just simply a networking happy hour that's typically held at a restaurant or a bar. And it's very sort of welcoming, it's non-threatening. But we've found that so many of these young Catholics, maybe if they're fallen away, wouldn't necessarily go to a Bible study or a church event, but kind of will come in. And then that's the neat thing. It's a stepping stone. There's always an invitation to that next step. And so I would just say if there's anyone listening that has, a child that's fallen away, someone that they know in their life, this might be a great opportunity to get them plugged in. And my team is always happy to kind of help with these special scenarios with the invitation as well. So we'd love to hear from any of you.
I'm so glad you said that. I couldn't agree more. And when we think about evangelization, sometimes when people are very devoted to their faith, like I am, they want to see results. They want to see, like,
Mhm.
okay, well, are they starting to go to church? Are they starting to pray more? Are they starting to do this or that? And
Mhm.
they're all beautiful things, but we
Mhm.
can never forget that whole um, caring and compassionate and empathetic part of what it means to be Catholic, right? It's not just doing all these things, but being a different person otherwise. It's not a rule following, it's not a checkbox thing. It's
No.
not just to say that I went to Sunday mass or I gave a certain amount to my church on
Mhm.
Sunday, or that all of my friends are just like me and they all go to church or
Mhm.
go to daily mass or whatever.
Mhm.
There is a compassionate and an empathetic side to what it means to be Catholic. And it's a very important part of who we are, right? I mean,
I
I know that our Holy Father talks about that a lot, is that idea, as I alluded to, also that field hospital and
Yes.
being able to minister to people and really love them for who they are right now, not for who they're going to be next year or next week.
Right. Mother Teresa always talks about serving, the poor, and who are the greatest poor, the spiritually poor, or maybe those who feel like they don't have someone to love them. And, I think in this age group of 20s and 30s, there's a lot of loneliness and sort of a lot of, even if they might not in an obvious way need help, or sort of, they might seem like they're doing fine on the surface. I think there's a lot of need for that kind of affirmation and a sense of just I believe in you and I love you, and so I think we as a church need to come together if we're thinking of sort of the legacy of faith, again, as we spoke about, of passing on the faith. If we want faith to be around 20 years from now, 40 years from now in our country, we have to be thinking of that next generation. So I think it's almost as important as, anything else we do, building a church building, anything. I mean, we have to think about building up, the body of Christ, and that's what we're doing with YCP.
It's really a beautiful way to do it. And I'm like I said, we're gonna have to have like other episodes to talk more because,
Yes.
as I said, this is really one of my favorite topics. And
Mhm.
now let's talk about something that's going to be happening for the end of April, early May. I'm
Yep.
excited because even I might be able to be going to this event with my daughter. Tell us about that.
I'm so glad. Everyone is invited. So it's called it's our annual conference. So please, you can visit our website. There's also another direct website, ycpconference.org. We do this annually. We base it on a book. And so, like I said, our first one was St. Francis de Sales, Intro to the Devout Life. We've done one on St. Joseph. We've done one on the Blessed Mother. We've done one on Brother Lawrence, practicing the presence of God. And we have a great topic this year, which is all about, you know, embracing God's will in our life. So it's based on St. Alphonsus Liguori's book, Uniformity with God's Will. And it's this tiny little booklet, 30 pages, but it's so powerful. And so we have incredible speakers. We have some really top-notch executives. We have the holiest, sweetest Nashville Dominican nun you could think of. We have a retired lieutenant general coming to speak to us. And there's also this time on Saturday afternoon where there's going to be breakout sessions where we'll have someone like yourself, Anne, as a mentor, leading young people, a small group of young people, into really lively discussion. So it's going to be beautiful, and it's in Dallas, Texas, and we'd love for everyone to come.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this, and I'll be sharing it. So I also want to ask my audience and our audience here to keep an eye on my own personal Anne DeSantis pages and Journeys in Faith, that we will be sharing this event
Hmm.
on our pages. And of course, you can go right to the website at youngcatholicprofessionals.org. Be sure to sign up for their mailing list.
Hmm.
Please sign up for their Instagram as well. I love your Instagram. I love your Facebook page. And I believe you're even on Twitter. So just connect everywhere
Yeah.
and connect with Jennifer. So, Jennifer, before we end, any final words to our audience?
No, just a big thank you. I mean, just, really on behalf of all the young people we're reaching. I mean, your role is making a difference in our lives. So please pray for us as young Catholics, because as you know, the world is crazy out there. And so we need courage, we need the virtues, perseverance, trust. And so, no, just a big thank you. And then just a final invitation for everyone to get involved. There really is a role for every single person. So I'd love to meet you and get you plugged in. Thank you so much.
Jennifer, thank you. Really, it's been an honor. I mean that from my heart, that this is just beautiful that we're able to host you here on Fiat Ministry Network and on the show Journeys in Faith.
Thank you
So
so
come
much.
back again. I really am going to reach out to you again to come back on the show.
I'd love
And
to.
yes, everyone have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you all next week here on Journeys in Faith. God bless.
Journeys of Faith is a production of Fiat Ministry Network and Patchwork Heart Ministry. For more information about Journeys of Faith, email info@fiatministrynetwork.tv. And be sure to friend, follow, and like us on social media. Just search Journeys in Faith with Anne DeSantis.